Morning students, today we are going to see lesson 10, rural economics. What is rural economics? That is the life of the people in villages. Define rural economy. Rural economy refers to villages and rural community refers to people living in villages. Rural economy means the life of people living in villages. What do you mean by rural development? According to the World Bank, rural development is a strategy designed to improve the economic and social life of a specific group of people in villages, that is rural poor. That is the main target of rural development. Rural poverty, defined. Rural poverty refers to the existence of poverty in rural areas. We can take, for example, our villages, isn't it? They have only huts, no proper sanitation, no water facility, no proper education. These are coming under poverty line, isn't it? Poverty in India has been defined as a situation in which an individual fails to earn sufficient income to buy the basic minimum of subsistence. That is, even their daily facilities cannot be bought by them in their income, by their income. That is, they don't have money to get their daily source. Like rice, sugar, all the oil, all these things they can't buy, even for their food facility. Define open unemployment. In open unemployment, unemployed persons are identified as they remain without work. They don't have any work. This type of unemployment is found among agricultural laborers, rural artisans, and literate persons. Literate persons also, that is, educated people also not having any work in some villages, isn't it? For example, if they have learned in Tamil medium, they don't get any work, jobs. Next, we will see what is meant by disguised unemployment. In concealed unemployment, it is difficult to identify who are underemployed. That is, who are employed and who is not unemployed. For many are employed below their productive capacity. That is, the productive capacity is very low. And even if they are withdrawn from work, the output will not diminish. Output means there won't be no profit. If a farmer is having a land, he is cultivating his land, 10 persons are working in one farm. What is happening? They will share 10 shares, isn't it? So they won't get a proper capacity in their production. And there won't be any profit also for the farmer. Define cottage industry. Cottage industries are generally associated with agriculture and provide both part-time and full-time jobs in rural areas, that is in villages. Part-time means at homes also they will do, and they will go and work for others in full-time jobs for wages. What do you mean by microfinance? Microfinance means also known as microcredit, small amount. Is a financial service that offers loans and savings and insurance to entrepreneurs and small business owners who do not have access to traditional sources of capital. Those are not having investment, that is capital amount to start a business or do any work. What is happening? Microfinance is also known as microcredit. Credit means what? Getting money from banks or loans or investors. It's a financial service that offers loans, savings, and insurance to entrepreneurs and small business owners who do not have access to traditional sources of capital. They don't have capital to start their business. They get it from banks or investors. State any two causes of housing problem in rural areas. What are the main problems in rural areas? Housing problems, that is rapid adaptation of nuclear families. That they are splitting into many families. Nuclear families means separate families. Lack of water supply, good sanitation, proper disposal of sewage. These are the causes of housing problem in rural areas. Define rural electrification. Rural electrification refers to providing electrical power to rural areas. That is current supply to the rural areas, to the villages. Most of the villages don't have proper current supply, isn't it? The main aims of rural electrification are to provide electricity to agricultural operations and to enhance agricultural productivity. For the farmers, isn't it? That is to provide electricity to agricultural operations for the pump set, all these things, and to enhance agricultural productivity, to increase cropped area, to promote rural industries, and to lighting the villages for the agricultural purpose, and to also to the lighting villages. That for educating the students, isn't it? They need lights to learn. State any two factors hindering rural electrification in India. Factors hindering rural electrification in India. The factors are lack of funds. The generation and transmission of power involves huge expenditure, isn't it? And the fund allocation is low. This is from the electrical department. The generation and transmission of power involves huge expenditure. They need more huge expenditure, but the fund is very low in given by the government. Interstate disputes. That is, as there are interstate disputes in managing power projects, power distribution is affected. So if we are getting a power from other states, it is very difficult to get it from them. Next, we will see about part C. That is, state the importance of rural development. The development of the villages. Rural means villages. A major share of population lives in rural areas. You know that, isn't it? Farmers. Mostly, India's main occupation is agriculture. A major share of population lives in rural areas, and their development and contributions are very much supportive for the nation building activities. At present, you know the farmer struggle which is going on in Delhi. So you see, and contributions are very much supportive for the nation building activities. The rural economy supports the urban sectors by way of supplying drinking water, milk, food and raw materials, isn't it? Urban sectors means towns and cities. So we get from water from the villages to the rivers. We get milk from farms. That is from the poultry, isn't it? Food. Sorry, don't come under poultry. Cattle farming and food we get from farmers. The wheats, rice and raw materials. Cotton, for example, for cottage industries. Improvements in education, health and sanitation in villages can help avoid many urban problems, namely begging, rag picking, and roadside slumming. When the village is developing, what will happen? The urban also will develop, isn't it? Improvements in education, health, and sanitation in villages can help many urban problems, namely the begging, the beggars. There won't be any beggars. Rag picking means the people won't pick rags on roads, and roadside slumming. The poor people are walking about in roadside, isn't it? This will be abolished. Development of agriculture and allied activities are necessary for providing gainful employment in rural areas and improving overall food production. Development of agriculture and allied activities gives what is happening when the agriculture is developing gainful employment in rural areas and improving overall food production. So our government must support the farmers very much. The evils of brain drain and rural-urban migration can be reduced if rural areas are developed. That is evils of brain drain. That is the superstitious beliefs. All these things must be abolished. And rural-urban migration, both together, the towns, cities, villages the people are migrate can be reduced if rural areas are developed. The people won't leave the farming and they won't go for cities to work. In order to better utilize the unused and underutilized resources, there is a need to develop the rural economy. That is, in order to better utilize the unused and underutilized resources, there is a need to develop the rural economy. That is, we must abolish the plastic and we must help the farmers to develop their agriculture. Rural development should minimize the gap between rural and urban areas in terms of the provisions of infrastructural facilities. That is, they are building dams, roads, cultivation, all these things must be developed. In order to improve the nation's status in the global arena, in terms of the economic indicators, what must be done? The rural development, the farmers must be encouraged and they must be enriched. Explain the cause for rural backwardness. What are the reasons for the rural backwardness? Lack of non-farm employment. Non-farm employment means opportunities do not match the increasing labor force. The excess supply of labor in rural areas reduces the wages and increases the incidence of poverty. But as I told you, a farmer is having a small land, isn't it? Okay, he's having a small land. He's dividing a land into 10 squares and he's cultivating. So what is happening? They will take their share of themselves and they don't have any proper profit in that. So non-farm employment opportunities do not match the increasing labor force. The excess supply of labor in rural areas. For example, I am telling you in farms, it can be taken into small-scale industries also. When there is more people, what will happen? Reduces the wages and increases the incidence of poverty. So the poverty will increase. Lack of public sector investment. The root cause of rural poverty in our country is lack of public sector investment, that is by the government, which has been not done by the government. Lack of public sector investment are not done by the government. On human resource development, isn't it? It's very sure that the farmers are considered very in poor condition in Delhi. You would have seen in news. They have beaten and they have chased. Next one, inflation. Steady increase in prices affects the purchasing power of the rural poor, leading to rural poverty. That is, inflation means the increasing of price level. As the price level increasing, what is happening? The people are pushed to poverty. They don't get money, they don't get proper income, they don't get proper wages, so they can't get the food items, they can't live properly in proper shelter, proper food, all the sanitation, everything goes back. It is pushing them to backwardness. Low productivity. Productivity of rural labor and farm activities as cause as well as the effect of poverty. That is low productivity, means the production is going down, isn't it? The farmers, the agriculture is going down. Unequal benefit of growth. Major gains of economic development are enjoyed by the urban rich people, leading to concentration of wealth. Only the people in cities and towns are enjoying their wealth and all these things. Enumerate the remedial measures to rural poverty. Remedial measures to overcome this rural poverty. Since rural unemployment and rural poverty are interrelated, creation of employment opportunities would support elimination of poverty. So proper employment opportunity must be given to the rural people also, villages. Poverty alleviation schemes or programs have been implemented, modified, consolidated, expanded and improved over time. However, unemployment, begging, rag picking, slumming continues. So when these things must be abolished by all these things. What is that? Poverty alleviation schemes or programs must have been implemented, modified, consolidated, expanded and improved over time. However, unemployment, begging, rag picking and slumming continues. We must overcome that. All these remedial measures must be taken. Next one, poverty education eradication schemes. The schemes of, we will see in a tablet column. The schemes are 20-point program. These are taken by the government. In 1975, Integrated Rural Development Program in 1976, Training Rural Youths for Self-Employment in 1979, Food for Work Program in 1977, National Rural Employment in 1980, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program in 1983, Jawahar Rozgar Yojana in 1989, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme in 2006. All these things are taken by the remedial measures are taken by the government. Development schemes. That is Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Sudak Yojana 2010 and Bharat Nirmana Yojana in 2005, Indira Awas Yojana in 1985, Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission in 2005, Rajiv Awas Yojan in 2009, National Rural Health Mission in 2005, National Rural Livelihood Mission in 2011, National Food Security Scheme in 2013. What are the remedial measures for rural unemployment? First we saw the remedial measures for poverty, isn't it? Now we are going to see the remedial measures for rural unemployment which has been taken by the government. Subsidy occupation. To reduce the seasonal unemployment, and rural people should be encouraged to adopt subsidy occupation. That is, subsidy occupation means the farmers must not be always relied upon the land and agriculture. They must go to the small scale cottage industries also. Then only they will get optional jobs to reduce the seasonal unemployment. If there is no farming, no rain, what is happening? Agriculture will go down, isn't it? So the rural people should be encouraged to adopt subsidiary occupations. Cottage industries, small scale industries, they can move on like that. Next one. Rural works program. Rural works programs such as construction, maintenance of roads, digging of drains, canals can be done by the people, mostly the villages. The 100 day schemes is there in government, insisted by the government nowadays. So 100 days they will do all these works. That is, they will pay it by the government. Every day they will be paying 100 rupees for them. For maintenance of roads, digging of drains, canals, all these are done by the villages, the people. Irrigation facilities. Since rainfall is uncertain, irrigation facilities should be expanded to enable the farmers to adopt multiple cropping, isn't it? Since if there is no rain, they can't do cultivation, no irrigation, no pump facility, no water facility, means what they must do? They must adopt multiple cropping. They must not only insist, they take their own interest in rice, but they must take interest in other vegetables, grains, greens, all these things. Next one, rural industrialization. To provide employment, new industries should be set up in rural areas. But this is very bad because it will create pollution in water pollution, air pollution, everything will be created. Rural industrialization. For example, sterilite is created in Maravanmadam, isn't it? It is spoiling the land, water and everything. Our natural resources. Technical education. Employment-oriented courses should be introduced in schools and colleges to enable the literate youth to start their own units. That is tailoring, ITI, polytechnic, stitching, welding, all this can be taught for the students, isn't it? That is, employment-oriented courses should be introduced to schools, in schools and colleges to enable the literate youth. If they are studying this, stitching could be taught for the girls, handworks, artisans, all these people could be created. Electricians, like these works can be created. Write a note on regional rural banks. The regional rural banks came into existence based on the recommendation made by a working group on rural banks. The main purpose is to get loans, isn't it? Appointed by the government in India in 1975. RRBs, that is regional rural banks, are recommended with a view to developing rural economy by providing credit and other facilities, particularly to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans and small entrepreneurs. As I explained in the previous part, they can do artisans, they can create agricultural laborers, artisans, small entrepreneurs in cottage industries and small scale industries. RRBs are set up by the joint efforts of the center and state governments and commercial banks. So all these measures are taken by the government. At present, there are 64 regional rural banks in India to develop the rural villages, rural condition. The RRBs confine their lendings only to the weaker sections and their lending rates are at par with the prevailing rate of cooperative societies. So they are lending loans through the banks by the cooperative societies to the poor people, to the farmers. Mention the features of SHG, that is self-help groups. Self-help groups. For telling you in Tamil, one word, Suya Udavi Kudu. Okay. Self-help groups are informal, voluntary association of poor people from the similar socio-economic background up to 20 women. Average size is 14. They come together for the purpose of solving their common problems through self-help and mutual help. They are getting loans, all these things are going on. The SHG promotes small savings among its members. They save small amount, rupees 10 to rupees 50 a month. Their savings are kept with the bank. It is a holistic program of micro enterprise covering all aspects of self-employment, that they can do their own employment. They can do stitching, tailoring, all these things. Organization of the rural poor into self-help groups and their capacity building, planning of activity clusters, infrastructure build-up, technology, credit and marketing. All these can be done through this SHG, that is small self-help group. The SHG have developed the banks to accumulate more funds. Actually, the banks change higher interest for the SHGs than car owners. List of the objectives of Mudra Bank. Next, we are going to see about the Mudra banks. First, we saw the RRB, that is for the regional rural bank for the farmers. Now, we are going to see about the Mudra Bank. Regulate the lender and the borrower of the microfinance and bring stability to the microfinance system. Microfinance means small amount of capital. Loan. Extend finance and credit support to microfinance industries, MFI, and agencies that lend money to small businesses, retailers, self-help groups, and individuals. Register all MFIs, that is mutual microfinance institutions, and introduce a system of performance rating and accelerate accreditation for the first time. Offer a credit guarantee scheme for providing guarantees to loans being offered to micro businesses. Then introduce appropriate technologies assist in the process of efficient lending, borrowing and monitoring of distributed capital. So with this, we will stop in this session and we will continue the next class, students. Thank you, students. God bless you all. Study well.